talked about many subjects, but I have those meetings one-on-one with all leaders, including the President of China, including Prime Minister of Japan, Abe. We have those meetings all the time. No big deal.
Mr. President, Mr. President.
I never worked for Russia, and you know that answer better than anybody. I never worked for Russia. Not only did I never work for Russia, I think it's a disgrace that you even asked that question, because it's a whole big fat hoax. It's just a hoax.
Mr. President, what about Steve King's remarks on white supremacy?
Who?
Steve King, Congressman Steve King, said white supremacy.
I haven't been following it. I really haven't.
Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez?
A deal with what? I don't know if we're close to the deal. This should be the easiest deal that I've ever seen. We're talking about border security. Who could be against it? We're talking about drugs pouring in, human traffickers tying up women, putting tape in their mouth, and pouring into our country. We can't have that. We can't have that. We have drugs, we have criminals, we have gangs, and the Democrats don't want to do anything about it. They say, oh, it's immoral. But it wasn't immoral 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and 10 years ago when they all raised their hands to approve a wall. All of a sudden it's immoral. It's immoral because, one reason, because they know they're going to lose in the 2020 election. That's the only reason to them it's immoral.
Mr. President, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez has called you a racist.
Who did?
Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez.
Who cares? We're doing very well with China. They're having a hard time with their economy because of the tariffs. We're doing very well with our economy. We're at records. Our unemployment numbers just hit a record, another record. We're doing extremely well as a country. We're doing better than any country right now, anywhere in the world. China wants to negotiate. I have a great relationship with President Xi because it's good to have relationships with Russia and China and Japan and India. And I have relationships with almost everybody, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. I think that we are going to be able to do a deal with China. I can tell you, we are getting things that before I became president, you would have had no chance of getting. They would have laughed at your president's face.
Mr. President, are you getting good at...
The people that started that investigation are McCabe, who's a proven liar and was fired from the FBI. Are Lisa Page, who was forced to leave the FBI, and her lover, Peter Strzok, who we got their text messages, and what they said in those text messages was shocking when you talk about bias, and also Comey. And I guess they started it because I fired Comey, which was a great thing I did for our country. So the people doing that investigation were people that have been caught that are known scoundrels. I guess you could say they're dirty cops. And I'll tell you what, it is so unfair what's happened to the FBI in terms of the men and women working in the rank and file of the FBI. I know many of them. These are great people. And they are so embarrassed by their leadership. I have never seen a turnaround in a bureau or agency like I have with the FBI. They are so embarrassed. I think 12 people now have been terminated. And others, if you look at what's happening, others are going to go. What happened at the FBI? So when you say, should I have confidence in the FBI or intelligence agencies? When I see Orr and I see all of these people, when I see Lisa and her lover and their notes and their texts get captured, and you see what they said about me, having nothing to do with investigation, let me tell you something. When people see that, you have an angry country because the whole thing is a hoax. It's a big hoax, and it's very bad for our country. So what happened with the FBI, I have done a great service for our country when I fired James Comey because he was a bad cop and he was a dirty cop and he lied. He really lied. And all you have to do, wait a minute, and all you have to do is take a look at the crooked Hillary Clinton investigation where they brought her under July 4th weekend. July 4th. They didn't swear her in. They didn't do any tape. They didn't do anything. They just let her go. And she mostly said, I don't know. She didn't know anything. Just like James Comey a week ago. He was interviewed by Congress. And, unfortunately, people didn't see it because the Republicans with Paul Ryan, unfortunately, they didn't put him out there. But what he said was either he's a bad liar or he's grossly incompetent. Unfortunately, people didn't say it, but you can read the transcript.
So the national emergency.
What? You know how I feel. Okay, we'll see you in, what? I'm not looking to call a national emergency. This is so simple, you shouldn't have to. Now, I have the absolute legal right to call it, but I'm not looking to do that because this is too simple. The Democrats should say we want border security, we have to build a wall, otherwise you can't have border security, and we should get on with our lives. The Democrats are stopping us, and they're stopping a lot of great people from getting paid. All they have to do is say, we want border security. That automatically means a wall or a barrier. Thank you. I'll see you in New Orleans.